Okay, guys, let me call to order at 7:05 p.m. And we've taken a roster that Jay has, and I guess I turn this over now to the election. Jay, do you want me to read off? I've got the agenda here, or I can bring it up on the screen. Do you want me to read off the agenda items?
No, everybody has the agenda. It was
Okay.
sent to them. And it's the normal agenda, so I think we just move along slowly so everybody catches everything. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Then you want me to call these out, or shall we elect a chairperson for the night and have them go through the agenda?
Why don't you just do it, Dick, and make this, we'll make you the
Okay.
chairperson
So
for the night.
Let's elect,
Make a motion.
let's
that
make
Dick-
a nomination. Make a nomination for Richard to be the chair tonight.
I just did it.
And then vote on it.
Second?
Here, Jones.
Second.
Jones got it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will be chairperson tonight. Comments from the public? We do not have any public joining us, so none. Secretary's report, Jay.
Okay, I did the minutes last time we met. I sent it to everybody by email. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that at this point in time. If there are no comments, I need a
I'll make
motion.
a motion to be approved.
I move to accept minutes.
Okay, second.
Second, Jones.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Okay. Treasurer's report, new invoices, warden's wages. Jay, are you going to be able to take that?
Yep, got it. Everybody, this is outside of the normal. I did an end of the year report. I sent it to everybody, everything that we have done. All the bills have been paid because we've been on and off as far as that goes. The only current bills we have are the Verizon bill at 31.86. That I had to approve because we want to get it paid because we had trouble with Verizon. Other than that, the warden's wages, I submitted those to town hall. They allowed me to. They ended up saying that I think the payroll was going to be, this was payroll week this week, so that money should have been paid out this week. Those were the December wages. I don't have the exact amounts, but I only got the hours that the people worked, and I just approved the hours, and then, of course, town hall personnel take care of paying those folks. Other than that, I went to Ken's Tackle and I picked up the receipts. That was $279.50. I could not go to town hall because they're closed and see what they had, but they do their deposit direct at town hall, so I don't have to worry about it. Same thing with the police. I went up there, but the person that was at the desk didn't know where they were. So I didn't get those either. And I figure once we can actually go to places, we can pick up the stuff. We don't sell that many permits this time of year. As far as our account, everybody was emailed what I got from the town. I didn't understand it. It looks like some of the police stuff is in our stuff. Not sure how that worked out. I think they're still working on their system. But the bottom line was that we have $83,491.22 as of the 5th of January this month.
What did we get from the police? Guns, mace, anything good?
No, nothing. So that was all I have to report on the treasurer.
Jay, does that include the money that we have set aside for capital improvements like a new boat if we need it?
That is correct.
That is included.
Total. That's the total amount.
Yeah, so. if
Are
you
there
take
any
out-
restrictions? I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you take out the whatever 35K or whatever we have, we're holding our own. We're about the same. Is that correct?
We have not been able to get reports from the town for months because of the new computer system. The last time I remember that we actually got a total from them was around the $70,000 range. That included, of course, 35,000 capital improvements. I'm going to say that now we're at 83. It's almost a 10,000, like an $8,000 increase. So I would say that even though we're not spending that, we have spent money on seed, warden's uniforms, and safety equipment for winter operations. We still have more money.
Still in good shape. Yeah. All right, good.
Recognize Craig.
Yeah, so I have a question. Are there any restrictions or stipulations on us carrying money forward from year to year? Are there any use or lose provisions that we have to think about?
As of now, no. Our money is not state funded. It is not town funded. There's no town funds or state or federal funds. We don't have to, it's not a use it or lose it for us.
We have been a little concerned that we are quite a bit in the black, and even though that money is technically fenced, the town, of course, supports us with HR, workman's comp, all that good stuff. So some of the move about a year or so ago to fence money for a new boat was out of some concern that the town sees money sloshing around and they make a play for it.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Yes, but Richard, they can't touch that, and they should not be allowed to erode that in any way. That's the state. That's part of the state statute.
Yeah, that's what we've always understood, but a little bit of paranoia goes a long ways, I guess. So
That's
yeah,
true.
that's our understanding. They have never made rumblings, but that was the concern, that we were starting to run a fairly hefty balance, and that's why we fenced over, 30K. I think it was about 30K for a new boat, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, you're right. Hey,
So,
Jay?
if nobody has any other questions, we need a motion that the bills are paid, seconded, and voted.
Okay. I make a motion to pay the bills as presented by Jay Kane.
Second.
Second. All those in
Second.
favor? Any discussion?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Any abstained? Carries unanimously. Okay, let's move on to correspondence. I'll start this. I went over to see Ed the other day. He's actually doing much better. He's got the neck brace off. He's got a bit of a walker that he's using kind of for stabilization. But I did actually brought over all the old photos that we have back from Steve and Ed's and maybe Paul's day that didn't have any identification on them, and gave Ed some homework to try to put some names to some of the faces there. But I did check on correspondence. He has received absolutely nothing, which is seems a little unusual to me and Jay when we discussed, but I believe Ed is still on the mailing list for any state correspondence and most anything else coming in. So talk to his daughter and they will call me immediately if something comes in. But I don't know, Roger, Jay, have you received anything, or do we have anything that's come up?
Yeah, I've got a list of things. Roger,
Okay.
you have anything?
I'm here. Go ahead.
Do you have any correspondence, Roger?
Well, not real correspondence, but at the end of the meeting, they're not really correspondence, just information.
Okay, so I'll do correspondence. I sent to everybody the list of dates for the meetings for 2021. They're always on the, of course, second Thursday, except for November this year, because that's Veterans Day and the town hall's closed. Did everybody receive that list, or they can figure it out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Second, we received a request, and everybody should listen up to this, from the town, okay? The town insures our vessels, our trailers, our motors. They asked me for a list of what we had because they were being audited. Almost nothing that we had was on their list.
Oh, jeez.
So they now have a complete list of our motors, serial numbers, boats, serial numbers, and our trailers and serial numbers. And that will be put on the, I guess, grand list for the town's insurance policy. Some of our boats, I gave them replacement costs on those vessels. I didn't know what to do. I figured replacement cost is we lose a vessel either through a storm and or fire or something like that. It's pretty pricey. In the past, the town has taken like we get charged for our wardens now that they're employees. We pay part of their, insurance or taxes. The town takes that money out of our account. Because we've upgraded all of our motors, boats, and what their replacement cost is, there may be a bump on the insurance policy, and the town may come back to us on trying to get that money out of us. I just want to keep they haven't asked, but they might in the future. We'll have to.
Jay, question, what is this they take out for the wardens, for their insurance? I never heard of that before.
I think it's the workman's comp, but I'm not, you can't hold me to that.
They never did before. I'm just saying, they took care of that.
Well, remember before, they were not employees of the town.
They've
We
always
made
been
We
employees.
made them employees so they would be covered under workman's comp in case one of the wardens fell and got hurt on the job.
I never heard of that. They were always covered under town insurance, as we are, if we're in the boat or
Well,
doing
I guess
shellfish work.
I can ask that question. I tried to, you can look at all the information I sent you from the town. I cannot figure out.
Yeah. Well, just be aware that I've never heard of that in 25 years with the Shellfish Commission. I've always been told that they're covered by the blanket policy. And as far as their FICA and all of that stuff, that was all taken care of by the town, but.
Right, but
they may stay
remember,
corrected.
when they were not town employees, they were
What
not
were they?
covered. Because the only way you get to be covered by workman's comp is your employee and your employer pays it.
When were they never employees up till, I never heard of that.
When I came on the commission, they were not town employees. They were
What
paid
were they?
subcontractors.
I never heard of that. Did you, Steve?
No, geez.
Well, if this is an issue about that, we can find that out we can ask the town. It doesn't matter what I think happened, but I know that they were not, when I came on the commission, they were not town employees and they were not covered by the town's workman's comp. Since that time, we made them town employees. They get a town paycheck like every other town employee, and they are covered by.
How did they get paid before if they didn't have a we never gave them a paycheck. They weren't paid in cash.
I
don't understand.
That was before my time, so I can't answer that question.
Well, I go back about 30 years on the commission, and they were always town employees. They were always covered by workman's comp. And so are we if we're in that duty in the boat or something.
Well, like I said, I can't answer the question. You'll have to ask the town, or I'll ask the town for you. I just don't know.
Figured I'd make that clear, though.
Yeah, it might be good to get clarification, because if they did switch somewhere, and I've been around for 3 years, so I don't know. But I mean, if they do.
A point here that Roger made about the insurance, and we as not wardens, as commissioners, how we are covered when we are riding the boats and so forth. Roger just made that as a kind of sidebar. I think when you investigate this, Jay, you want to make sure that, that we still are.
Okay, gotta write that down.
Yeah,
You know, because when we're water sampling or whatever, we could just as soon get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not per se town employees.
We don't get paid, we're not employees.
Exactly, but they still cover us.
Yeah, I think the commissioners are covered. I just, like I said, I know they weren't on workman's comp when I came on the commission. And we got that changed because we figured they were out there by themselves, that they needed to have some kind of coverage.
I think there's been too many town manager changes here.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting confirmation. In fact, I have a personal interest since I'm out in the boat sampling during the winter with Michael and Ted.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I'll check on that next week if I'm around.
Okay.
If I need to finish up on the, if you guys want, we did get quarterly reports, the end of the quarter, fourth quarter, from both Sixpenny and Eros on their CMs, their managements. And we were requested by Eros to submit a letter for them to, I gotta get it here.
Is that for the grant?
Atlantic State Marine Fisheries Commission, supporting a grant that they will get to try to develop a program to grow and harvest soft shell clams in Connecticut waters. Because we weren't going to meet and it had to be done before this meeting date, I made up the letter and I signed it in my own name and I gave it to them so they can submit it with their package that has already been submitted.
Yeah, just as a follow-up to that, Jay, I also wrote Danielle a letter for
Okay,
that proposal, but it was in my capacity at UConn and the commission was not mentioned at all.
okay.
I
Richard,
talked to her about that. She's going to branch out and try to do hard clams as well as steamers.
Richard, do you want to do the Atlantic letter, commission of the meeting of the commissions?
Meeting of the commissions. Oh, yes, I believe I put that email out. It's going to be virtual this year. This is the annual meeting of the commissioners, shellfish commissioners in the state of Connecticut. I've attended in person with Paul and Ed. Well, I think a lot of us have attended in the past. It's going to be virtual this year. I may not be able to join because it's on the 13th of February. I will be flying back from doing some skiing out in Wyoming. So I don't think I'll be able to connect, but as I see information come out, I'll make sure that everyone's copied. Don't have to drive anywhere. You don't get a free lunch. Well, it wasn't free actually. Yeah, I will try to get further information out. We just had kind of a heads up email, which I believe I sent to all of you. Just kind of save the date on the 13th. It's well worth attending. I'll say that from my attendance the last 2 or 3 years. You know, it's good to talk to the other commissions, and the state put some good stuff out. Even Dr. Tobias put some good stuff out last year.
I think it's going to be very tough to do it on a virtual basis.
Yeah, it's going to be crowded.
The most I got out of it was the sidebars over lunch with the other shellfish commissions and so on. Otherwise, you'll just be watching presentations pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be more challenging, but every other school kid in the country has been going through the same challenge. Nice thing is you don't have to travel anywhere. If you want to read your emails and take yourself off the screen, or drop out, it's up to you. You can fade in and fade out of it, and no one's going to notice. Okay, anything else, Jim?
My students have mastered that.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm sure of that.
I have too, with the million Zooms I do every week. If it's boring the hell out of me, I just, my face disappears and I go on mute and I go do something else.
I've got stories for another day.
Okay. Anything else, Jay?
That's it for correspondence.
Okay, old business. Boat status. I was out sampling with Michael last time, a couple days ago. Boat, our small skiff at Avery Point seems to be running well. Seems to be riding well. Really nothing to report on that. Jay and I have had some discussions with Michael and Ted about possibly getting the skiff out of the water and using the middle-sized boat more extensively. I don't think I want to delve into that right now. We're at a kind of a discussion state. And Jay was good enough to go over with his son, I believe, and take the mooring out at the ball fields once the ice broke. So we are squared away at Yukon until March or whenever, when we'll bring the one boat or the other back up the river. And I think we're on hold as far as the maintenance and repairs on the mid-sized boat that would need to be done to get that into the water. And I don't think that's a huge priority right now during the winter, right?
Yes, just with the cold weather, trying to work on that boat is going to be tough. So I'd rather wait to the spring. It's just a little easier to do that. And we need to make, we're also, you said we may put together a winter operations SOP for our wardens, so that they have the ability to make decisions, and whether or not they want to go out. And we should have some status. If it's small craft advisories, they definitely should not be going out at all, no matter what the issue is. And at least give them some leeway on boat ops themselves, instead of figure they have to go because we got to do something. If it's unsafe, you don't do it. We're not going to have people going on a small 14-foot boat in 3-foot seas.
Yeah. I did send you the excerpt, Jay, that I put into the management plan. I thought I had written far more than I did. So it is fairly scant as far as safety procedures, specific safety procedures. And so I think we'll work with Ted and we'll work with Michael on coming up with something a little better. Again, we really don't, even with the safety precautions, no one wants to go in the water this time of year. So, and you need to, and I'll say this to you, Michael, and I've said it to Ted, you need to speak to power. Sometimes I get really, because it's so complicated getting things set up for sampling with the towns and the state and the tides and all that. Sometimes I get real performance driven, and I've been pushed in the past when I was a warden that you got to go get the samples. And if you guys truly feel it's dangerous out there and you're being pushed, push back. But we'll come up with something a little more extensive. Okay, water sampling, we're into a new year. We finished up last year completely in compliance on water sampling. We took our January open a couple days ago. I'm kind of looking at the rain that's coming in tomorrow night and worried a little bit that we might get closed down, but I can't do anything about the rain. So we're proceeding with that. And I do thank Michael and Ted for being very flexible when I throw something out on Sunday that, we need to go, and one or both of them have jumped right in. Okay, is there any other old business? Hearing none, new business. Referendums. Let me talk a little bit about this. This is a term that Jay thought would put people off, and I understand why. I put together a couple draft referendums for tonight. They are nothing more than my thoughts on something that needs to be voted on and discussed. I will present these as a motion. If it gets a second, we'll move into discussion. Based on discussion, it will be adjusted or whatever. We'll take a vote, strictly right down the line, Robert's rules here. In the future, I may be taking over as secretary, and I expect to put a draft agenda out 1 week ahead of our meeting and solicit anyone that feels that there is an item that needs to be voted on, discussed and voted on. I'll solicit draft referendums at that time. Draft referendum means nothing more than something that, in this case, was in my mind that we needed to take action, official action on. And it may go somewhere and it may not. Jay, I don't know what do you suggest? Jay and I have been working on Groton Shellfish Commission duties and assignments. I think everyone's been sent the most recent. I could quickly go through these. I don't want to read the whole breakdown of duties, but maybe just title and who we have assigned right now. There will be I will make a motion in a bit to approve these duties and approve the people we have assigned. Jay, you want me to go through these briefly, or what do you think?
If you've got your copy in front of you.
Yep, I do.
I've got lots of papers here.
Okay. This is what Jay and I put together, and I believe, as I say, I sent it out and solicited any input, and I don't think I got too much.
I did not receive that.
Okay, I have to get you a hard copy somehow, since I sent it out email, attachment to email.
No, Rich, I think now that you have my email, which you got for this thing tonight, you can try that.
Okay, I will
same
try.
The same one I'm on now.
Steve Jones. Okay, let me try to, well, you're on a phone number right now. Well, no, you're on email. Okay, let me try that, Steve. I'm making a note to send you the duties.
Great.
Since you haven't seen them, Steve, do you want us, well, let me go through them if we want to. It's not hair on fire that we approve these, so we may just table the motion. Well, I haven't even made the motion yet, so we could put this off, but let me click down because I think we do have need to have a discussion. And Jay and I have had extensive discussions about this with Ed Martin retiring, and Ed was such a saint for so many years and took on everything. I think we have a bit of a different commission now, and I most definitely would like to share the load, but I'd also like, to see all of us share the load as much as possible, as much as people feel comfortable doing, taking on a task. But we essentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different duties, which actually comes out pretty good. Head commissioner, and we do have a breakdown on all these as far as what the job description is for the title, but head commissioner, and right now temporarily we have Roger and Jay in that, though it looks like I just kind of jumped in as one of the possible temporary heads. And that's fine, it seems to be working. Water sampling and compliance, I have my name after that. I know, Tom, you've expressed some interest. It'd be good to get some cross training. So if you're willing to be kind of an understudy to me for that, I'll run it, but it'd be good to have someone, if I disappear for some reason.
Absolutely.
It'd be good to have someone that's savvy about contacts and putting bottles together and all that. Shellfish resource management and research. Craig Tobias came to mind, and Craig was good enough to step to the plate on that. Permit management and interface with permit vendors. We're still looking for someone to do that. That's picking up. That's what Jay's been doing. And Jay's been doing a hell of a lot. In fact, it was Jay's name after most of this stuff until we started trying to work up some other, way to spread the load a bit. We are looking for someone that's providing permits, picking up permits, picking up money from Dottie. We don't handle money any other time. So, Tom?
I could do that.
Okay.
Otherwise, if there's a problem, I'd take that on, but.
Okay.
I can do it too.
Okay, okay. I'll put down possibilities for you two. We do have one more vacancy coming up. Commercial lease management and coordination, that's the Oyster Book stuff. Jay is handling that right now, and I won't speak for you, Jay, but I think you'd like to continue handling that for a while at least, right?
Yeah, I think that we have everybody up to speed. We don't have to do it for 5 years. So I think that we just leave that one alone for now. If something comes up, the only thing coming up with that is the Sixpenny Oyster people. Their CM, their second year is going to be up, I think, this March, May, somewhere around there. And we'll have to find out from them if they want to turn it into a lease. And if that's the case, that'll be just paperwork that I can, I'll take care of it. Very simple.
Okay.
Well, if you want some help on that, that's when this whole group started, it started with a 3-person oyster ground committee before it morphed into the present configuration. And that's what we did mainly, was exactly what you're talking about now. In the oyster book, number 22, it used to be over in the vault. So I have some experience in that if you're interested.
Okay. Steve, could I put you down as a alternate or a co-host for that task?
Sure.
Okay, great. Secretary duties, I have announced only to Jay on this, but I'd be willing to take over the secretary duties, take this off Jay's back. Perfectly happy. I do this all the time with my various boards and the Land Conservancy and all that. So if there's no objections, and I doubt there will be, I'd be glad to take care of getting the agenda out, setting up, making sure the town's notified, soliciting agenda items from all of you, doing the minutes, all that good stuff. And the one that we still have open, financial coordinator, and I will read the duties on this one, but this is basically what Bob Occolini was doing for many years. Basic financial and accounting oversight, and we mean this really basically. We're not looking for an accountant. Track incoming expenses and receipts, boat work, warden wages, and coordination with town accounting and payroll office. Provide monthly summary reports to the commission. Essentially what Jay just gave you, has been doing, and just gave you a rundown on, is what the duties are. So we are kind of looking, I'm not going to pressure anyone. We're a volunteer organization. No one should be pressured, but excuse me, but that is something that Jay is still covering, and it kind of be nice to find someone else that might step in. And I'm not asking for, you think about it, if anyone's interested or thinks they could take this on or assist Jay with it, maybe, let us know.
And
finally,
I have no problem, keeping this going, because I've got everything pretty much. With COVID, they made it so simple at town hall that you don't even have to go there anymore.
yeah.
They just email you and you just say, yeah, pay it. So it's a great job.
Yeah. So, okay, well, we'll work on these. Last one I have, and we've adjusted this one a little bit too. Jay and Roger have been the go-to people for boat maintenance and stuff like that. We have a couple wardens now that are are very boat savvy. And so vessel and trailer maintenance and management, we're going to give this primarily to the wardens as their responsibility, with Jay supporting if we need to get a boat into Lang Boatyard for service or whatever the case may be. But and I will, I haven't talked to the wardens about this, but they've stepped to the plate. I've certainly heard from Michael and Ted about maintenance issues, their druthers as far as what boat is in the water, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think we can give them the helm on this one, so to speak. And as they need, if we need to schedule service, stuff like that, that's where Jay or someone will jump in to support them. Okay, I'm going to, since Steve hasn't seen this, and I think it's important everyone sees this, I'm gonna, as I say, I haven't made a motion. I'm just gonna put the motion, the referendum, off to the next meeting. And Steve, I'm going to try to email this to you. Please reply to me. If you don't get it, I will physically get a copy to you somehow. But it is important, I think. I won't say we're restructuring. This wasn't an attempt to restructure the commission. It was to try to capture the duties of the commission, assess who's doing it, and try to spread the load a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
Richard, I will deliver, I've been delivering hard copies to Steve's house. I will deliver a hard copy to Steve's house.
Okay, but I will try your email too, because I haven't been connecting with you in the past, even though I copy the SB Jones email all the time. So if we got something different for you, I'll give it the old college try, okay?
Great.
Okay, I would like, there's one other referendum and it's in my purple prose, but I'd like to make a motion. I hesitate to discuss before I make a motion, but just to give you a little heads up, I put this together because we need to move ahead with the sampling MOU. And I've heard different opinions from, I think, the commission. So I'm not quite sure where we are and what to communicate to the state. So I most definitely would like to get that going. It works in our favor because it bumps the trigger, the rainfall trigger up at a couple of our sites, and that will make it a lot easier and maybe even keep me from having to go out with the wardens in the middle of winter for a whole bunch of water sampling. So let me read this slowly to you, but I'll make this a motion. So moved. In order to finalize the updated draft sampling MOU between the GSC and the Connecticut Bureau of Aquaculture, the GSC affirms the proposed increase in rainfall triggers at areas P and C. It affirms its intention to continue routine water sampling and perform a watershed investigation at the closed recreational area E, which is Palmer Cove, with the intention of future reopening. And we affirm the future use of the rain gauge at the Stonington Mystic water treatment plant, which Murph is working on getting internet connectivity for all future regulatory rainfall. Second?
I'll second that.
Second. Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Carries unanimously. I will be in touch with Alyssa to say, make these changes, and I will take the responsibility for shepherding this past town manager, Groton DPW, and getting it over to Mayor Hedrick and the DPW in the city of Groton. They're all signatories on this, believe it or not. So, but this will make sampling a lot easier or a lot less frequent as far as rain closures, and that is, in my mind, always a good thing. Jay, you want to, because I've been talking, I'm losing my voice. You want to talk about what we've been doing with records at the hatchery, since you've been a prime mover on that.
Yes, Richard was, good enough to go over to Ed's house and pick up, I think 2 or 3 boxes, huge boxes of all kinds of paperwork. And then we went through the hatchery, our file cabinet and our wooden glass door cabinet, took all the stuff out, cleaned the shelves, all kind of stuff, and went through. And a lot of times we found extra copies of the minutes we have copies in the books. Then we had just piles. Ed kept extra copies of everything. We found some old, anything that was historical, being about the hatchery, about what the commission has done, all that, it was put into one single file, all right? We also found, Roger, just so you know, we found a FedEx envelope to you from the guy who wrote Dark Waters, asking you to go through a chapter that he had written So we saved that for you because that may have historical reference.
I picked it up.
Okay, good.
I got it.
All right.
Did you,
And
get-
those
did
two,
you get the tapes? There were two
And then two eight
VHS.
tracks, some, Steve, you know about this. There's somewhere there's a film you made on the hatchery development that never got broadcast. It wasn't a copy of that. I was hoping it was, but they were,
Oh, you're right, Roger. This is not to be confused, the one we did with Larry Malloy and Tom Yonke.
no, but there was one there on clamming in Groton that was a video. It's a 8-track or whatever, the old style cassette.
VHS, yeah.
Yeah, and so they're pertinent to shellfishing. And I haven't played them because I don't have a player for that anymore.
I still have a functional VHS, believe it or not.
Well, I do not. So I took them just because they were kind of in the way. Yeah, I had to review the Dark Waters book before he published it. And that was interesting to see. I haven't seen that in 25 years, I guess. So how
Yeah.
it ended up there.
Yeah, for all the newbies here, I did not know this until Jay brought me up to speed, but Roger was quite involved with the NR1, the quote unquote research submarine, which there's nothing left of it except for the sail, which is over at the Nautilus Museum now, but a fascinating story. Some of it probably will never be told, huh?
Yes.
okay, so getting back to the records, we found all the records on the boats, all the serial numbers, all the original paperwork. We also found we actually have registrations for our trailers, actual paper registrations.
Yes.
I kept those. I made copies of those. I laminated them so if anybody takes a trailer, they can take their registration with them. We're still working on getting things in files the way they should be. Trying to get, like we have old lease paperwork, stuff like that. We have all the ticket books now in plastic containers that are airtight, all for years and years and years. So we're basically going through stuff. There was a lot of paperwork that had nothing to do with the Shellfish Commission. We jettisoned that. We don't have to hold any records according to the town charter. The town charter says that the chairman shall keep some records for some time. So there's no like 5 years, like if you go to the town website, the purchasing has to keep things for 2 years, and anything to do with land and court cases is 25 years. So we're going to try to get everything back in the cabinet clean. If somebody historically wants to do something, I think we're missing some copies of minutes. All right, some copies, some years. I've called Neil, left a message because he may have stuff at his house. He told me he did, but I'm waiting to hear back from him. But the town clerk has all the copies of all of our minutes. But I think she only has to keep them for 2 years, so I don't know how long they're going to be there either. Is there anything that people are looking for down there that they might want?
We talked about our old leases having a money part, so much per acre, and also a so much seed or so much proportion, 0.7%. Did you ever find any of that in the old leases?
No. I mean,
You know,
I've got some paperwork from Malloy way back. I saved those. There's other, names I don't know. But a lot of the paperwork is signed, but there's nothing in those spaces.
anyhow, that was not that long ago. I'm talking a couple, 3 years ago, because that's why we always got the product every
Well-
year in addition to the money. And I just thought it was interesting. We can't find it in the writing, but some of our growers that have told me that they have that on their leases.
Right. Well, like I said, when I got the lease book from JC, there were no leases. Nobody had any leases. So now what I'm trying to do is, find leases that are, within the last couple of years before I got the book, and I haven't located those yet.
Okay, well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I do. We're still looking for that.
Yeah.
All right, is that enough on that, Richard?
Yeah, I think so. Only thing I was going to say to Michael, you might get with Ted sometime, go over and take a look at the office. There is some boat supplies, life jackets, line, odds and ends over there. Battery terminals, most of it is on kind of a rack as you come in the door. So that would be probably well and appropriate if you two guys are together sometime or go over individually. They're usually open Monday through Friday from about 8 to maybe 4. So it's at the top of the stairs through a round door.
Okay, well, go look and just familiarize yourself with what's over there.
Yeah, I think it's important. I was kind of surprised to find certain things that I wish I had known about before we bought them. Okay, is there any other new business?
How about the signs at Muffler Cove?
Yeah, I talked to Ted about that. Had people going into Mumford Cove, probably walking in from Bluff Point, the northern gut, what I call the gut there, right from the Amtrak line down to where Mumford Cove opens up, is permanently closed. We have one sign down at the southern end of that gut delineating the closed from the open area. But what people are wandering in from Bluff Point, and as soon as they find tidal water, they're clamming. And I guess they're doing damn well, but they're in a closed area, which has been driving Ted and Michael a little bit nuts. So I talked to Ted. I'm going to go to, I think we need to get some of those yellow no shellfishing signs that really get people's attention. I told Michael, I told Ted that we would need to get permission from the state to put those up, but we could put some of those up on trees up in that area to make people more aware that just because it's salt water doesn't mean you can put a rake in it. Now, of course, they should have maps and all that, but they don't.
We historically have had a sign on each side, the Bluff Point side and the Mumford Cove side of the spit. One of those signs is down, you're saying?
One is missing completely. The only one we have is over on the Mumford Cove side.
Yeah.
But that's really not the problem. I think what it is because people are coming in for Bluff Point, they're not getting anywhere near to seeing that sign. So we need some type of signage.
There was one, a metal sign on a metal stake on the Bluff Point side.
That's gone. Yeah, that's gone.
Well, that should be replaced.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I told Ted, I said, you guys, Ted, Michael, you guys are the experts on this. You tell me what you need. I can get metal signs from the town of Groton, but I also think some of those yellow, and you've seen them around, we post them on River Road, on the Mystic River, they're everywhere. Those yellow no shellfishing signs really get your attention. So I may try to go to the state, find out what the stock number, where they're getting them printed, and maybe we'll purchase 25 or so of them. It's good to have them. There's
no problem with that. On the DABA website, all of the signs that are official are there on their website.
Okay.
And obviously this one is missing.
Yep.
On the Bluff Point side, but they have designations for where the signs are.
Yeah,
supposed to be.
Yeah, I think we've been a little remiss there in that there was a sign missing, and of course Mumford Cove was closed for so long. So
Right.
but we are having problems in that restricted area there, so we need to deal with it.
first and foremost, you do need the sign on the Bluff Point side so you can draw a line from the sign that's there now across to the sign that's missing. And the yellow signs are a good idea, but being able to
They're
draw
not
that
official.
line, so so when you're on the park side, when you're above or below the line itself, then that's essential.
Okay, if one of you guys could take a picture of the sign that's existing and send me a JPEG so I can get permission for the town of Groton to make more signs. And if you feel we need more metal signs somewhere else, aside from the yellow signs are easy to order. Hi, Steve, do you have your hand up?
No, I think you're going about it the right way.
Okay.
Richard?
Okay, let me work with the wardens on that. That just came up to my attention about a week ago, so I will work with the wardens on that. To try to,
Richard?
yeah.
We can probably get those for free from the state.
The yellow ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will ask free. Okay, good marketing, a good technique, negotiating technique. I'll ask if you got them free, and if not.
Well, we can probably get them down at the Old Line Marine headquarters.
You think they might have them too? Yeah.
That's where the tree cops, shell cops are headquartered out of. And if not, let me know, because I got contacts with DEP. I can find out whether or not we can just get 10 of them or something. And of course, we're going to put them up. They usually put them up. They may say, "Oh, we'll do it for you." We talked to the state guys. Maybe we can just get them from them.
Yeah. Well, I've been putting them up. The last I got, Kerry was passing them out at one of the Shellfish Commission meetings a few years ago, and he only had about 20 of them. And I asked for 5, and he made a face, but gave me 5. So they seemed a little rare, but yeah, let me explore getting some of those. And yeah, Michael or Ted, if either one of you could just take a picture out there of that sign, so I have something that I can go to the town to get their sign shop to start producing the mirror sign over on the Bluff Point side. Okay, anything else?
Roger said he had something he wanted to give us too.
Okay, and
Yeah, it's not new business but it's just, I did learn about the grant that's been applied for, and that's great. Also, you should be aware that Bloom in New Haven is building a multi-million-dollar hatchery. I've heard like $8 million. It's quite an impressive looking building. He's going to raise oyster and clam seed for his own use, not for sale, but he will take care of us and the Shellfish Commissions, because he always has. And that should be a better source than the Cape with all the problems there. He's going to, it should be in business, I would say, in 2 or 3 years. He's in the final process of getting all the permits, but it's a big operation. And that will keep Karen's operation in Southold and keep our operation in Knowing, because they never want to put all their eggs in one basket. You could have a disease outbreak in New Haven and then you're done. But he's raising all his seed for his own beds. And the days of buying clams like we did in the past, market size, are over. We're going to have to do the seed thing, but maybe on a much larger scale when we have an in-state source. It's down the road a little bit, but not that far. So
No,
that's kind of good news.
That
It's
is good news.
For all of the Shellfish Commissions in this state.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost really have needed something like this. With the dearth of mature sized clams or the occasional availability of them, this be great.
I think there's a certain amount of this is the natural sets aren't coming in like they used to, and for oysters particularly. So they
Yeah,
feel that they should really get into the hatchery business.
yeah.
I mean, they started it a little by getting involved in no-ank, and that got Karen involved, and now this is going to be a big operation.
Yeah, I'm enthused. Yeah. This
Yeah,
is great.
I was.
Yeah,
Should be good for
Right.
the sound school.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually expect some hard clam aquaculture to be kind of steadily and slowly on the rise here, is my expectation in the next 10 years or so.
When you say here, you mean Yukon or?
No, I mean in this region,
Okay,
because waters are warming
yeah,
primarily. In Virginia, it's the third largest cash crop.
yeah. And you think
So-
that's all gonna kind of might migrate north as the Chesapeake becomes untenable?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think, the change is going to help it, but also people that were hard claiming are realizing that the natural set's not there anymore.
Yeah,
And so if you're going to go through the pain and suffering of doing the hatchery activities,
yeah,
then you're probably going to hedge your bets by doing the grow out.
Yeah, that's a difficult operation because they haven't figured out a good way to do it without planting them and
Right.
digging them up again. But that's some of the experimentation that Danielle hopes to fool with the steamers. And that's the key to this. If you got to put them in and then rake them up again, which you do now, it becomes.
Yeah, the way they do it in the Chesapeake is using the cages that Paul showed us at one of the meetings. And they lay these things out, 100 meters at a time. Right. And then they just kind of bring them up like a conveyor belt at the end, and that's their harvest.
And I
But
assume
actually I had some other new business. This was just an aside because Roger was talking about it. It was in relation to the National Estuarine Research Reserve,
Mhm.
which is an email that went out. So Dick, I went ahead and I forwarded you an email from Jamie Vaudry, who is really the point person at Yukon for the steering commission for the National Estuarine Research Reserve. And in that email, there is a website link which updates on the progress of the reserve, as well as a schedule for a series of public meetings that are designed to entertain public comment. The one on February 26th is the one that is more specifically focused at shellfishing,
Mhm.
both recreational and commercial aquaculture. So, in terms of putting that on our radar, if there's interest in the commission knowing what's happening with the reserve, and certainly if you get inquiries from any of our leaseholders, you should pass this information on to them. In terms of the commercial folks, it's been my experience that Sea Grant is also well represented on this steering commission.
Mhm.
And it's been my experience thus far that Sea Grant is very much looking out for the interests of the commercial aquaculture.
Commercial
folks.
folks and there was, you must have attended actually, Roger and Jay and I, that was a very well attended public meeting over at Yukon Avery Point about a year and a half ago. And there was,
Yeah, in the big lecture
Huge.
hall. Yep.
huge concern from the commercial folks that things would become much, much more difficult with this preserve. But
Yeah, it's on the radar, and everyone is aware of those concerns. And Sea Grant is their advocate. To the extent that they were probably willing to sink the process if those concerns were not adequately addressed.
Yeah, that was actually Tessa was the one that originally put the email out a few weeks ago. I believe I sent it to everyone and you
Okay.
claimed ownership, but can I send the email that you sent me about an hour ago? Can I send that to the commissioners?
Yeah, please do. It's got, the relevant pieces of information in there are the schedules for the public meetings,
Okay,
and the process for public comment and the website. This is a multi-year process to get this thing put through. So the website is updated frequently as to what the status is and how people can contribute and get informed.
okay. I will, I'll send that out, but I think they got, I think Tessa, her email had the whole schedule or maybe she was
Okay, great.
soliciting, she may have been soliciting for dates or something, but yeah, let me dig those up.
Yeah,
and
it's
send them out.
the process is like right on the cusp of being ready for some public input.
Okay,
Um,
that may have
but,
been it may have been an initial shot over the bow as far as here's some tentative dates. What do you think? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think we want to stay involved and put our ear to the ground on that.
Yeah, the whole point of public comment is to actually get public comments. So
Well,
let's do it.
Well, I think from the turnout in that hall, they got some public comment or they heard some the first time around.
Yeah, I mean, there's a diverse group of stakeholders here, and the aquaculture guys are, probably rightfully skeptical, but
Yeah.
they're not getting left out of the discussion.
Okay, I will forward that on to everyone's email address. Okay, any other business? Seconds?
Hey, just so you know, Craig, I'm gonna move that, what you just gave us into correspondence, just so you know.
Okay, before we adjourn, just a heads up, our next meeting is February 11th. I am going to be out west skiing on February 11th, and 2 hours earlier. I might be able, I have no idea what type of Wi-Fi I'm going to have in the hotel in Jackson, Wyoming. I assume I'll have it. I'm hesitant to be the host for the February 11th meeting, so I might be asking someone else that feels comfortable doing that. I think I should be
You
able
think
to.
it's really a requirement? Can we not skip that meeting?
Why don't, I'll tell you what, Roger, let's reassess first week of February and see what type of business we have. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we absolutely positively have to have a meeting. I thought it was really important that we have this meeting tonight because I kind of knew February might be difficult. And Jay is going to be offshore, overseas or something. So let me reassess. Maybe. Yeah, let's see if we really need. I'll take a poll and see if we really need it first week of February, and then maybe Craig, I might lean on you. We have to go through the town of Groton system because it's an official town of Groton meeting, and this is all being recorded, and they put a link out on the town website. So we can't use your system, you can't use my system, but it's pretty easy, and you're a pro with this stuff. And this is the first time I've done a webinar. It ain't that hard.
Yeah, I can do that. I think option A is not having a meeting,
Yeah.
but if we really need to, I'm happy to host
Okay.
it.
Let me put it in my calendar to poll everyone before I disappear around the 6th of February.
Sounds good.
Okay, hearing no further comment or business, I move to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 8:09. Not too bad. This went better than I thought it would.
Good job.
Yes,
Goodbye.
indeed.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger, you're looking
You
good.
too.
Yeah. I'm glad to see Roger smiling and all that. I heard all about your health concerns, and
Oh,
good to
well.
see. Yeah, it was good to see Ed up on his feet again too, so.
Well,
Ain't none
age
of us
does
getting,
creep up on you.
yeah,
Yeah.
ain't none of us getting
All right.
younger.
Good night, guys.
Okay, okay,
Take
folks.
care,
and,
everybody.
Tom, I'll be in touch with
safe.
you on shoreline
soon.
shortly.
Okay, bye-bye.